Hi, and welcome back to Dr. Coco's Medmonics. Today we're going to go over some biostatistics concepts that you might see on either NBMEs or STEP. This is not going to be inclusive, this is just going to be some that I find to be hard to differentiate between the two, or concepts that I've been tested on multiple times. So first, I can never remember, all of these formulas, they pretty much have some combo of A over A plus B and C over C plus D. And they have them in different orders and different, adding, subtracting, whatever, and I can never remember what it is. So my friend and I actually came up with a sentence, and if you can remember this sentence, then you can kind of figure out which one you need, which formula. So when you die, you subtract all of your attributes. So think about things that make you you. Obviously, you're going to subtract them, you're dead. And you divide them up amongst your relatives. So then you can think of when you die, all of your belongings are going to be divided up amongst all of your relatives. So they go in a room, some lawyer says, hey, you're going to get her dog or whatever. So when you die, you subtract all your attributes and divide them up amongst your relatives. And it might sound really dumb, but this will help you remember these formulas as far as attributes will be A over A plus B subtracted by C over C plus D. And then relative risk will be the same formula but with a division sign in the middle. So that way you can kind of remember the formula and which one you subtract and which one you divide. And for relative risk, it seems like they really like to test the concept of, the relative risk is 0.8, what does that mean? Or the relative risk is 5, what does that mean? And so you want less risk in your life, right? You want to be less risky. So relative risk that would be less than 1 means that you decreased the disease occurrence, meaning you have a less likelihood or a less risk of having that disease. Versus if your relative risk is greater than 1, it's an increase in the disease occurrence. And so if you can remember, basically, you're doing an experiment and they say their relative risk is 0.5, well, that's a good thing. That means that there's less disease occurring. Versus if the relative risk was 5, that would be more disease occurring. Odds ratio, this one's pretty easy. If you just think you cross out or you X out the odds, then you can remember this formula pretty easy. So it's A times D over B times C. So just remember you cross out the odds. Next we have number needed to treat and number needed to harm. We went into medicine to treat, right? Not to harm. So we want to treat more people and harm less. And so the number needed to treat will be 1 over ARR because it has 2 R's in it. So just remember it has more letters and you want to treat more people. Versus number needed to harm, you want to harm less people. So that'll be less letters. So 1 over AR. And lastly, this isn't formulas or anything. These are statistical tests that they like to ask you on. So first, you have the 2 tests that would be talking about quantity or numbers. And the way I remember this is guys are more into quantity of tits and ass. So this is thinking of the t-test and the ANOVA test. And so I also think of it as kind of t-test for 2 tits. So women have 2 for t-test. And ANOVA would be for a number of vivacious asses. So this would be both, you're thinking of numbers, you're thinking of a quantity, because guys like quantity, right? They want more, they want all the boobs. Versus women like quality, okay? So this will be more of categorical or proportional ratios. And so you're looking at the quality of fine cock matters to females versus the quantity or numbers in males. And so this would be something about a proportion versus a group of numbers. So if you have a small group of fine men, that'll be a Fisher test. versus a chi-squared test would be a larger group. Okay? So if you can remember the guys like quantity of tits and ass for t-test and ANOVA, then you can remember the quality tests for Fisher and chi-squared as fine cocks that matter to females. I hope this helps. I know it's kind of silly, it's kind of stupid, but these are questions that you get on multiple tests, and having a stupid way to remember them might help you. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to my channel.